Yeah, Chit Chat Kit Kat. I wanted to say, like I said, Trumpenstein has got no freaking clue. Now, I've had Christmas with my daughter growing up that we had nothing. I was lucky to get food on the table. Literally, I had no money. We had no Christmas tree. Okay, we had nothing. Now, I went out and found a little branch from one of the trees that had broken off and took that home and used it for a Christmas tree. That was it. We had a branch. I can laugh about it now. We had a branch. I went to the second-hand store. I couldn't afford new toys or something. Got her, a little something at the second-hand store. I think it was like a stuffed bear or something like that. Got her a little something there. And thank God there was a police association. They brought her a couple of little toys. I was so grateful for that because I was lucky to be able to buy ramen and eggs and make something, put some protein in it. But that's what we lived on, like spaghetti and things that were cheap to make sure that there was food of some sort and variety. You go to the food bank and get a little whatever you could get and make it work, okay? So, this fool has no idea what it's like to be in that type of a position. Some people, again, you're lucky to get food on the table, let alone $30. He is such a absolute idiot. But like I said, I know what it's like because I've been there, okay? My daughter's very grateful for it, the times, though, that we had hard times. She said it's made her a better person. It's made her have some strength in herself, okay? And confidence that you can make it through no matter what it is, okay? So, again, we want the best for people. We want to see things get better. And not have this fool, okay? But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. You make do with what you have. You can do something. Like I said, I had to go out and got one little, branch that had fallen off for Christmas trees. I had one little branch that I put up like a tree. And you make a little decoration, whether you got to cut something out, you find some magazine, something, and you cut out and you make a little, something. Okay? But you do the best with what you have. Okay? And you make it through. But people like Trumpenstein, they've always been wealthy. He pulled himself up by his own bootstraps after he was given $1 million from his dad to invest. Self-made man. Yeah, Daddy bought him out of the service. 5 deferments he got? 5 deferments for bone spurs. Yeah. This is the one that said if his children ever joined military or aid groups, he would disown them. Yeah, this is the one that really cares about military. Okay. Why? Because he couldn't do it. Because he is such a chicken. He had to have deferments. So he's jealous of anybody that actually could put their lives on the line and did stand up for the country, doing things that he couldn't do. That's why he's so jealous of Biden, okay? Because Biden is a humanitarian, okay? jealous because this fool cannot do those things, because these other people have respect that he could never get. Okay? So he is just a sad, pathetic little man who wants to present himself as something he knows he's not. He's not a good businessman. They created a show around him and it was all fake. All of it was fake. Okay? He bankrupted. How can you bankrupt a casino? You really have to be a failed person to be able to bankrupt a freaking casino. That's why I don't get these people that say he's a businessman. You know, well, he's a failed businessman that's filed bankruptcy, what is it, five times, 6 times? Oh my God. Just the insanity of it all. So, you know, we will make it through this time, and things are going to change. Because this fool has no respect for anybody. And it's these failed white men, old failed white men, that are so fearful of everybody else that they have to be so caustic. Like the KKK when they'd hide under their white sheets. Okay? And go after people. What were they so afraid of? Somebody that looks different than you, you're so failed, so afraid of it. This nonsense needs to end. You know, society needs to get better. Should celebrate other people and other cultures and enjoy them for what they are, rather than rail against it and be afraid of it because you're so failed in your own life. Okay? Yeah. So anyway, on that note, I'll leave that here. But I've always enjoyed other cultures, whether it's Japanese, whether it's Mexicano, whether it's Chinese, okay? Doesn't matter. It's evidenced. My daughter's half Chinese and my son is half Puerto Rican, okay? And I had actually people come on and say I was prejudiced. Yeah, that's why my daughter's half Chinese and my son's half Puerto Rican, because I'm so prejudiced. Yeah, that's why. Anyway, people, you know, wake up, enjoy differences, celebrate the differences, bring those cultures in, rather than being afraid of them and blocking it. Okay? If you honor other people, okay, and give them some space, everybody would be so much happier. So on that note, I'll leave that here. We'll see you online.